I'm at Red Ridge Farms today with Paul Durant, and it's also Durant Vineyards and Winery, so really lots going on up here.
A lot going on. You know, we're the Oregon Olive Mill, Red Ridge Farms, Durant Vineyards, so just, you know, this has always been kind of a destination nursery, and certainly we kind of keep growing in that direction, so just a lot going on the property.
And it's so much fun, you can buy plants here, which I think is great.
Yeah, and that was always the original focus of Red Ridge, was really all about, you know, specialty plants, you know, and that's what kind of took us down the path of these olive trees, which has been great.
And it has been, and I know we came up a couple of years ago seeing the orchards, and that was just so fantastic to see we can actually grow olives here and have an industry. Yeah,
and the industry's grown. I mean, from, you know, a few years ago when you all were here, you know, there's now a growers association in Oregon, and you know, it's really started to really gain some traction, which is really exciting for us. You know, we've been at it for, this will be going into our 10th year of making olive oil here on the property, so to kind of see things really starting to take off has been great.
Yeah, and so there has been some kind of downsides. There were some bit freezes. So what happened at that 2013
So
freeze?
2013, if people maybe recollect, early December, you know, we had a cold snap that went on for about 4 or 5 days, and was probably some of the harshest conditions that our trees have experienced. And our big planting down kind of lower elevation, we had 4 days at 9 degrees, which is just, you know, that's hard on anything. But kind of through that, we lost, of course, you know, a fair number of trees, but you could look across that field and you could see these trees that were survivors. Did look great. And so we're like, okay, now we know. We had kind of a little natural selection process happen there. And so now we've started propagating our own trees off of those survivors. So, you know, previously we were primarily bringing up trees out of, from California out of a wholesale nursery, you know, but now we're doing this ourselves. And, you know, this is kind of an example of some of the trees that we're propagating. You know, propagation techniques for olives, it's not easy, but we're learning. So it's getting better all the time. And so we focus really on kind of 3 main survivors from that 2013, which was Peak-Wall, which is a Spanish varietal, great olive oil, and a nice producer too, which is great. Not only does it seem to survive here well in Oregon, but it sets a good crop load. And then the other ones are Frantoio and Lechinos. So those are the trees that we're propagating here at the nursery.
That is interesting. And so for a home gardener, how can we be successful in this?
Well, so, you know, really I think when people look at, there's a couple ways to do it. Obviously you can just grow them in a pot, a big pot. The trees do great in that too, and you can, that way you can move it around. You can, if it does look like a freeze is coming, you can maybe protect the tree a little bit, even just by putting it up against your house. Or if you want to plant them in your yard, you know, look for well-drained soils. You know, they like kind of the rocky, just kind of, you know, where water's going to drain really well. And they like to have high pH, you know, which is a challenge in Oregon. So to sweeten up that soil a little bit when you plant the trees is good. And then also, if you want to have some fruit, you know, obviously they're just beautiful ornamentals, but if you want to have a little bit of fruit to do whatever with, you need to plant 2 different varieties. So like a Peak-Wall with a Lechino or something like that to get some cross-pollination.
So pretty easy.
Pretty easy.
We do fruit trees here, so it's just a different crop.
Different crop, exactly. So.
Well, there's all kinds of things going on here, and just if you can just touch on what goes on in November for your big festival.
Well, so, you know, this will be, I guess this will be our 8th or 9th year of having this big olive oil festival, Olio Nuovo. So basically, it's the weekend before Thanksgiving every year. The property just becomes a giant open house. So we have wine tasting, we have some food, and then of course it's really focused on the new oils that we're making, the Olio Nuovo. So, and those oils are so vibrant, they're special, you really can't get it anywhere else in the world, you know, here in the States anyway. So it's really exciting.
It is a great festival. We've been here many times to come in and taste that one because it is really interesting to taste them so fresh. So if you have any other questions, please go to Garden Time. We'll click you over to their websites, but really it's a great place to come any time of the year, but make sure that you put that on your calendar for November. Thanks so much, Paul.
Thank you.